greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell, and we have special guest host, super agent, team member Josh Grubensky in the house. Josh, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Big radio debut here. And obviously, we got Nick behind the camera on the live stream on YouTube and Facebook. If you want to follow us there, just Google Tom Toole Sales Group on Facebook or YouTube. And again, we all work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and Delaware since 2018. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We've got the Inman Connect Summit. This is like one of the biggest industry events of the year. And there was a lot of, I would say, some controversial stuff that came out of this, some fighting words between some of these big companies. So I'm going to kind of fire off what I saw as some of the biggest statements from some of these major players in the industry, and just let's kind of talk about it and get our reaction here for the first segment, because this is one of those things where people do pay attention to. They have it a couple times a year. This was the Inman Connect event in Las Vegas. Then it's happening again in New York in January. So let's get right into it. And the first takeaway I had, and this was, I guess we'll call this the Zillow segment, right, Stacey? This is where Zillow comes up every week.
Every week.
Well, then they're a big industry player.
Yes.
And this actually came from the CEO of CoStar. And what I found really interesting about this was that, you know, they've come out and said, hey, we don't compete. And that's CEO Andy Florence. He said, they're not competing with each other. I would argue these two companies are on a collision course in the next maybe 24 months, 36 months. And he came on stage, and this was on, I guess, Thursday of last week. He walked onto the main stage, and he started talking about a hypothetical company called Zilturn that's hijacking listings and acting like the mob by demanding payments from agents. And full disclosure, we have a partnership with Zillow, so we're talking about what's going on here. And I mean, he really got into it with him, and he would not let up during this. And then, you know, he seemed to kind of go on and argue that almost no real estate company should use an IDX site. If you don't know what that is, that's where it's the Internet Data Exchange. That's what it stands for, where you can go on our website and look for listings, or another company's website and go look for listings that aren't just theirs. So what do you two think about all this? I mean, this was, you know, those are fighting words, I would say, in a nutshell.
Yeah, total fighting words, that's for sure. Well, you know, Zillow is the top of the pinnacle there. I mean, everybody's going to try to take down Zillow. That's their main competitor, and pretty much everybody knows what Zillow's up to. And I think if you're on the top, that's what everybody nips at you. They're nipping at your ankles, nipping at your heels. So they're going to take these shots, but they want to be there. They want to be there too. So it's a lot of competition because there is a lot at stake. But I totally believe that his reference, Ziltech, what did he call them?
Zilturn,
yeah,
like an intern with Zillow.
Yeah, that's Zillow for sure. Yep.
Josh, what about you? How do you interpret all this?
Yeah, so I mean, we pay dues to our MLS to list on there. Seems like the Zilturn company is trying to be a national MLS and, you know, control the market in that way. It's a fair argument that they want to control that, but it's kind of like the big dogs are fighting it out at the top here.
Well, I agree with you both. And what we know about CoStar, and if you're not familiar with what that is, especially for some of the listeners not in the industry, it's basically the commercial version of Zillow to a certain extent. Now they have news on there. They have kind of their own, you know, MLS for commercial listings, because an MLS is the multiple listing service. Typically that's residential. And, you know, they purchased HomeSnap about a little over a year ago. And that's an app that you guys use frequently.
I use it all the time.
So why don't you talk about what HomeSnap actually does to give some perspective? Because to me, that's a clear sign, hey, we're getting into the residential market.
I use HomeSnap. If I'm out and about and at showings, to me, I can just open up the app and it gives me real-time data close by to my location of other listings that are open, and I can schedule showings through that. It's a very user-friendly app, and it just has a lot of great data. I use it a lot.
Yeah, HomeSnap is definitely ease of use. You can log into the MLS through the browser, but you're never going to get through all the pages so quickly as you will with HomeSnap. So it's really a convenience. And you don't get bogged down with advertising. It's just straight data to the point. See a listing.
and you can get seller's disclosures. You can get all the pertinent information and email right directly through the app and send it. You can also text it to your clients. So it's very user friendly.
Absolutely.
But where it helps though, I mean, imagine you're out at a showing
Mhm.
and someone's interested and offers are due in 20 minutes or 2 hours. I mean, this is real life. This happens all the time. So the ease of use there, to me, it's a really smart purchase by CoStar if they're going to get into the residential real estate arena. And when they talk about Zillow, I mean, Josh, you mentioned it, and maybe this was intentional or not. The MLSs are the ones that have kind of failed here. I think the MLSs, I would love to see a national MLS. I think it will make life a heck of a lot easier for everybody. You're in South Jersey, not far from here. There's 3 different MLSs you have to use. We're very fortunate. We have one, but again, if we're licensed in other states or even go out and you're to another MLS, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the reason these companies come up, any company that's successful, they solve a problem. And what Zillow's done is they centralize the data. So looks like CoStar is trying to do the same thing and duplicate it from the commercial world. My only takeaway from this is that CoStar basically saying, "Hey Zillow, we're coming for you, whether you like it or not. Be ready." That was kind of, I mean, that's how I read the statement. I don't know what you guys thought, but that was my major takeaway from what Andy Florence said.
Totally, they're coming for them.
All right, so we agree. Collision course happening. We'll see what
Yeah.
we can go pat each other on the back when we're writing in down the line here. So the second takeaway that I got, and I thought this was also very interesting, and this came from the CEO of Century 21, and I loved this quote. I've met his name's Mike Meadler. I've met him a couple years ago at the T3 conference, and he basically got on stage and said, uh, in short, that he believes that tech is overrated in the industry. And he said on stage that it's the work of the agents that powered America through the depths of the pandemic. And they're the ones that provide value in the industry. And he went on to say, we went out there and were able to deliver. We showed up, did innovative things, put boots on the ground. And this might be an unpopular opinion. I don't believe tech is absolutely a differentiator in our business. What do you two think? Josh, why don't you jump in first?
Yeah, so I wouldn't call tech overrated. I would say maybe that there's a lot of opportunity in, the humanity side of our business and the empathetic side of our business to bring value to the consumer in new and different ways.
Mm-hmm. I think coexist is a good term. Tech is definitely, it's not overrated. It's a necessity in our business, but relationships and the human side of it is a necessity too. So I think we can coexist for sure. But I agree. We were definitely the, as he puts, proverbial defibrillator to the pandemic economy. Yeah, because that's what happened. Real estate brought us through the pandemic, and it's continuing to thrive at this point. So I think, we have to learn to work together. Technology is not going away.
Agreed.
So, it's here and it's advancing.
I mean, if you're like retiring in the next 12 months, maybe you can ignore technology. Past that,
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you
you've
can't.
got to embrace it. So I think part of this was probably he was speaking on stage and making a point. I get all that. When you go deeper into his talk that he gave, what I found was that the way technology can be a differentiator is in the consumer experience, which I totally agree with. Being able to sign things on your phone, right? Having the dates sent to you, being able to streamline the process so that you're not doing all these things and it's a big pain in the butt for you. Coming from someone who's been in the business a long time, I mean, technology has revolutionized real estate. Electronic signatures literally changed my life. I mean, imagine having to go meet every person you sell a home to and have them sign the contract, and then all the offers you had to write and everything else. So there was a podcast that came. Gary Keller came out and said this right during the pandemic that there's 3 views on this. There's the physical first world, there's the virtual first world, and then there's the virtual world that's physically enhanced. And to me, that is the absolute right way to look at this, because you've got to build rapport with people still. We're not seeing a ton of virtual purchases anymore. I mean, it's happening here and there, but it's usually show it to us virtually, we'll make an offer, and then we'll get in later. It's kind of been, I mean, I don't know if I'm off base here, but that's what I've observed. So knowing that, the people that understand the sales process and know how to deliver value and guide people through the process and explain like how all this works, because nobody really knows. I mean, you bought a home 20 years ago, it's totally different. Even if you bought a home 5 years ago, it's different. Just market conditions alone, right?
Mhm.
So there's something to what he's talking about here. There's a little bit of clickbait involved. I do agree that the people that can leverage technology to be more efficient and that can also understand the human side of the business, because there's emotions involved when people are buying and selling homes. It's a lot different than a commercial space. They're going to be living there. That's what I see as the big point. And where I'd say tech isn't a differentiator is all the real estate companies have the same tech. Like, I mean, everyone has access to a CRM. They pretty much all do the same stuff to a certain extent. So I agree with him in that I don't think anyone has like the tech's not that much better anywhere else. It's the people that use it are the ones that differentiate. And most agents don't use anything.
Yeah, and it makes it very difficult if you're working with an agent that doesn't use some of the technology. It really does. It makes a difference as far as getting documents back to you. If somebody has to print everything and have, what they call wet signatures, and then they
What's
have
your
to.
fax number?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You still have to have your fax number on your business card in Pennsylvania. This is the law of the state we live in. But talk about how it's difficult with the other agents. I think, and I'd love to hear both because I know I've had conversations with you guys off air about like, oh man, this is like, how does that challenge you, and how does that hurt the consumer? This is a really great point.
Yeah. Well, it's a time factor, and everybody knows now that time is money. Time is everything. So if you're dealing with an agent that is still not utilizing the best technology to create documents and to transfer documents and to electronically sign, oh my gosh, I mean it's a time killer. It could take you a couple of days to hear back if you submit an offer. Instead of submitting streamlined through our platform that we use,
Mm-hmm.
you have to, you know, do it each and every PDF. It's just a time suck on our side. And for the consumers, I don't know. I feel bad for the consumers who may not understand how streamlined it could be for them and how much of a time saver it could be for them if somebody just used updated technology. And I know it can be tough, like you said, if you're not computer savvy. But I know that the majority of my clients, once they get accustomed to the e-signature, all day, they just love it. It just makes their life so much easier because they can just review documents and click and sign.
For sure. If you're waiting on a multiple offer situation and the agent is dealing exclusively with pen and paper, sitting down, taking hours going over it, it can cause some problems. And then if you need to change contracts after things are executed
Mm-hmm.
and you got to go back to the pen and paper, re-upload and get a PDF that's upside down, it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, think about
agree.
and you're on one side, right? Let's say you're super tech savvy, or maybe your agent is not. You go either way. You're on one extreme or the other. And then the other side is the opposite. I mean, this is how people lose houses, right? And you think you get a deal, and then another offer comes in, and there's these ethical obligations. So, and there's a lot of ways it hurts people, and then it can influence the transaction, even in ways that's out of your control, because you don't get to pick the listing agent for the home you want to bid on, or you don't get to pick the buyer that you work with and who they choose. You get to pick the contracts. So that to me is where you got to be very careful. And I think that's where those that leverage it will be the differentiators and make it a better transaction. So great observations by both. It sounds like we're all kind of on the same page here. We got one or two more to get through. So the next point was that there was a number of people that came out. Ryan Serhant, you might know him from $1 Million Listing. Ivy Zellman of Zellman and Associates. Gary Gold, who sold the Playboy Mansion. During their session of Luxury Connect, a number of people came out and said, hey, the market's going to cool in 2022. The market started to show some moderation. What do you guys think about this? Because I don't know that cool is the right word. I would be careful with your language there, but I want to hear your opinions on this, because that was a theme that we heard from a lot of people. Even Nick Bailey, the president at Remax, urged agents to prepare for a changing market. So there's this sentiment that it's not going to be the same year that we saw last year. What do you think?
I think that we've been seeing that over the past couple of months. Like you said, I wouldn't use the word cool, but it's changing. And I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. So I think just for going forward into 2022, especially if the interest rates are going to be ticking up a little bit, that's going to make a big difference also. But I think over the past couple of months, I've noticed a change in the market. There's listings that are sitting a little bit longer. It's not as fever pitched, but there's still plenty of activity. That's for sure. So I wouldn't say it's cooling, like, ice cooling, but it's definitely changing. That's for sure.
I was watching Keeping Current Matters with David Childers a little earlier, and he was saying, we're not entering into an area of depreciation. It's more of just deceleration. We're still expecting, most of the economists out there are still expecting 5 or 6, 7% appreciation year over year next year. So it's moderation is a good word.
David's been on the show, and that's a great point. And to liken that so people can understand what we're talking about here, when you're going down the road 150 miles an hour, and you slow down to 100, it feels a lot slower. And I think moderation is a great way to look at it. I do agree with what Nick Bailey said, that agents need to prepare for a changing market, because a lot of these people, the number of agents has peaked this year. I think it was a new realtor every 7 seconds is what we determined at one point.
Wow.
Where they're used to showing up, opening the door. Hey, do you want it? Okay, here's the offer. And those kind of people are the ones that are going to be pushed out of the industry or aren't going to survive if they don't work on their skills and understand like how a contract works, how the process works, all those important things. So I do agree with what he said there. Now, obviously, Ryan Serhant and Gary Gold are talking about the luxury market, which historically has been slower, and that's been very fast-paced over the past 18 months. So, there's some value to what they're talking about here. I hate hearing these headlines because we're still in historically a great market for sellers, and there's some opportunities for buyers because of where rates are right now, coming in at 3 1/8. So I don't know that this is going to stop, especially with the millennial home buyer demand that's coming. So I'm in total agreement with you two here, and it sounds like you got to kind of taper this. Changing doesn't mean slowing. Slowing relative to where we were, but this was probably the greatest sellers market of all time, at least over the past 20 years from what I can tell. So last one here, then we're going to take a quick break. There was a couple people from some big companies, Compass, Keller Williams, that said, hey, we want to be the Amazon of real estate. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, it was funny because I read a little comment at the end that said, if Amazon gets into real estate, they'll be the Amazon of real estate.
And that may not be that far-fetched, Stacey.
Right. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. Again, I think everybody's looking to be that pinnacle. I do. I think that they're all out there to get there but Compass they've definitely made an impression. And they have big goals. So they're on, they're making moves to definitely, keep their position in the market. And they'll continue to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want that position right now. They all want to be the Amazon, but I mean, so did Alta Vista and Yahoo before Google. So I think it might be a little too early to tell. There's a lot of players out there right now, and we kind of just got to see what happens.
This is no different than when Gary Keller came out and said, we're a technology company, not a real estate company a couple years ago. I mean, these are great things to say. I think you got to let it play out, right? I mean, and I think saying I want to be the Amazon of real, that's like a buzzword right now. Like everyone wants or we want to deliver a 5-star experience. People take these things. I don't think they know what they mean sometimes. Obviously, both these companies are spending money and investing a lot of resources in their companies, just like every other company is right now. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, everyone wants to be the Amazon of real estate. I would argue that to be successful, you got to be the local brand of real estate, not necessarily the Amazon brand, because that's where you can win over and over again. It's just they play to their stock price. They're publicly traded companies. You got to take this with a grain of salt. And I think it's just funny they're both saying the same thing at the same conference. Well, like only one of you guys is going to do that, because I don't even remember what companies competed with Amazon when they came out. It was like Barnes and Noble that was selling books. Like I can't even remember.
That was it.
Or what was the there's another company with it's Barnes and Noble. What was the other one? Borders. See, I can't even remember these companies, right? Like right. It's crazy.
Yep.
So the point is that everyone's trying to make this digital first streamless experience. We've seen that. I mean, look what happened to Zillow. They tried to do that, and now they're reselling all the homes they bought below what they paid for them. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think.
Yeah, I don't think so. They talk all this to stir up a lot of controversy and get more clicks and get more people tuned in. But it's tough. And you're right. Zillow is finding out that it may not be so easy. They put a freeze on, purchasing for the rest of the year, and they have to unload. So it's not as easy as it seems, especially if it's not your main forte, and you're just getting started into it.
All right. Anything to add, Josh?
Not.
All right. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. That's the Inman Connect breakdown. I think we covered a lot of good stuff there. When we come back, what we're going to talk about is there has been a dramatic change in the climate of the market that a lot of people probably aren't even aware of regarding bidding wars and multiple offer situations. We'll be right back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. The real estate market is red hot. Have you considered taking advantage? Call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX at 610-692-6976 or visit our website, tomtoole.com, to connect and take advantage of these market conditions.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com.
Mortgage America is equal housing number, NMLS 128501.
Buying a home or already own one? We can help. I am Kevin Hamill from Alliances Insurance Agency. If you haven't reviewed your policies in the last 3 years, now's the time. New home buyers, there are a number of ways that we can help you get to that settlement table. Call us to find out more at 610-816-0043, extension 3, or visit our website, alliancesinsurance.com. Don't forget the S, it's for savings.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 692-6976
All right, coming back.
or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line. All right. Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell, and we have special guest, amazing teammate, Josh Grubensky in the house. Very excited to have Josh on, laying down his opinion and telling us what's happening for all 3 segments today. We've got Nick Wolf behind the camera, Brett, our amazing producer, although I still don't understand why he wears a Chiefs mask every day, but that's another story. And they didn't even cover last night, but that's a whole nother thing we'll talk about later. So, interesting data came out last week. And I don't know if I know you're feeling this, but I don't know that consumers are aware of this. For the 5th consecutive month, the number of bidding wars of home sales declined, according to a Redfin report, where in September, 58.9% of the offers written ended up in a bidding war, which was the lowest rate so far in 2021, was about even where it was last year at 58.3% of the time, down 2 percentage points from August. Most importantly, 74.3% of the time in April, we were seeing bidding wars. Major drop there to 20.7% decrease since April. So I don't know that buyers are aware of this. I don't know that sellers are aware of this. This is the kind of stuff that enough people don't talk about. You mentioned David Childress earlier, Josh, where being the knowledge broker is so critical. So tell me first what you think about this, and then let's talk about how we're explaining this to both people that are thinking about buying or selling their homes, because 20.7% is a pretty big delta.
So to me, this spells major opportunity for buyers because, the competition is decreasing. Personally, I still find myself in multiple offer situations. So I don't.
How often? 58.9% of the time by chance?
I would think probably 100%.
Okay. I'm just half joking, but I want to get some real life data here.
Right. So I would say 99.0% of the time.
Okay.
But especially over this weekend, it was 3 for 3. But I think it's great opportunity for the buyers at this point because yes, you might be in a multiple offer situation, but maybe you're not up against 12 offers, but you're against 3. So that's a lot of competition that's been weeded out. And if you have the right guidance with your agent, you have a much better opportunity, a much better chance to actually secure and get your offer accepted. So to me, I think this is great for buyers.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you entirely, Stacey. I think this is a big opportunity point on the buy side and the sell side because this is fresh data. Not a lot of the market has absorbed this yet, and there's gonna be a delay there before people start acting a little differently. So it's our job as agents to kind of bring this to our buyers and our sellers and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on right now. This is how we can prepare for it and react accordingly." And that's going to help a lot of people get in the door, and it's going to help a lot of people sell their houses a little more quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I find that the buyers that have kind of been sitting out a little bit, like the past year, 9 months to a year, that I have been nurturing, and they're coming into the fold now because some of the competition has dropped off, and they noticed it. The savvy ones have noticed it, and they're jumping in. And to me, I'm super happy about that. And for them, it's a great opportunity, and they're going to seize upon it. So that was an observation I had just in this past week.
Well, that's a really great point because even though you're still seeing a lot of multiple offer situations, you guys are both doing a lot of business, number one. And secondly, the best homes always have multiple offers. I don't care what kind of market you're in. If you're looking for like that home on a certain street or that 20-year property, those always have the most competition. And the turnover in our marketplace is very low compared to other places in the country. And so that's one observation I want to kind of chime in on. I do agree with the opportunity because the people that always win in the market, and you can define winning however you want. I look at it as they get the house and they feel good about the purchase. That's winning because you're living there. The ones that win, they kind of get ahead of the market a little bit. They see this data, they pick up on this stuff, and they act on it instead of kind of waiting until it's too late. And to me, the next really 60 days, that's going to be an opportunity for a lot of these buyers because everyone's going to start giving you that, let's wait till after the holidays. I don't want to move over Christmas or Hanukkah or Thanksgiving or whatever. And what's going to happen is those people are going to jump back into the market when everybody else is. And Warren Buffett always says that you want to be the person buying when the rest of the market isn't. And I am clear this is that chance and that window of opportunity people have been waiting for that went through May 19th of last year up until now. We've all been through that. I mean, this is the first hesitation I've seen where it's not go, go, go all the time. So buyers, I mean, there's that component, but then the other thing I'm clear people should be thinking about is like what's going on with mortgage rates right now because they're all projected to go up, and there's going to be a cost to waiting. So obviously, you want to buy the right house. If you don't act on that now, and you want to wait even until like let's say 6 months from now, because that's a lot of people are already talking about the spring, and April's about 6 months from now, right? Even if you just look at where rates are projected to be, which is maybe around the low to mid threes. I mean, that's going to cost you a lot of money per month, plus the equity that's lost that you're not building while you're living in the home, knowing that prices are projected to go up 5 to 6%, like you talked about, Josh. So people don't understand the cost of waiting, and I think that's a big concern that I have for the marketplace if we're not getting the right data out there. What about sellers? So we talked about buyers and the things to consider. What are you guys advising sellers right now, knowing what's going on? Because you get these same objections. We want to wait. Nobody's out there looking right now. So how do you handle all that?
Well, I have to, let the sellers know, yes, there's people out there looking right now. And there's a lot of buyers out there. And to reassure them that and find out where they're hearing this information, because there's definitely it's still a seller's market. And just find out why they're hesitating. Like you said, if it's the holidays, well, maybe you just show one weekend and get your house under contract and you have your house back to yourself to enjoy the holidays. You're not going to be moving the week of Christmas or Hanukkah or, New Year's Day. That all can be worked around within the confines of the contract. So you have to just inform the sellers what the market actually is doing, and also that it is still the best time because the interest rates are still at a low point.
Mm-hmm.
And as they do start ticking up, buyers will potentially fall off the market, out of the market, because they might not be able to afford it anymore, or they'll have to get less house for more money. So their price point will change. So I just encourage my sellers to, consider that it is a great time to sell, get them under contract so that they can move on.
Yeah, it's always good with sellers. You got to see where they're coming from and what they're hearing from the market first so that you can kind of set up expectations for what is actually going to play out once they list their house, and prevent or preempt conversations. Because it's like, you hear all these stories, houses are selling instantly for 10, 20%
Mhm.
over all this crazy stuff. And if they go in and expecting that, maybe their house takes a couple extra days. Maybe you say, it's going to take a week or two instead of instant fire sell, as opposed to a year or two ago when we would have 30 days or 45 days on market. You're still
Mhm.
way ahead of the game. You just got to kind of set up expectations for how things realistically play out. And when you keep people on the level, they really appreciate that.
Well, that's what they want from an agent, right? Like, no one wants to. I mean, we say this all the time. The difference between a good agent and a great agent is a good agent will sometimes tell the consumer what they think the consumer wants to hear, just so they'll get hired. A great agent gives them, hey, here's the facts. Here's what's going on in the market. Here's the rates. Here's the data. And here's your situation. And how do we fit into this to make a move happen for you? Because these deals are complicated. I don't care what anyone says. Putting any deal together, every single deal is tough in a lot of ways. And if you underestimate that, because you got people's emotions, sometimes they've been through a transaction, sometimes they haven't. Preemptive conversations, Josh, are right on. So that's really, really spot on. So, the other thing I wanted to bring up is, we talk about rates, we talk about, selling. Obviously, when you're on the market, when the neighbors aren't, that can be pretty advantageous to a seller. You're not moving during the holidays, like you said, Stacey. I mean, if let's say you went under contract today and you negotiate a 60-day close, it's already after the new year, right? So that's all kind of past. On top of that, the homes tend to look a little nicer when they're decorated for the holidays. There's that emotional reaction.
Yep.
And what we also know is when we talk about rates, what's guaranteed right now is where rates are. We don't know what's going to happen after January 1st. And historically, that's when everyone else starts to jump back into the market. So if you can get ahead of that a little bit, because the buyer's going to buy that's serious no matter what. It could be November, it could be December. Anyone looking this time of year is very motivated and very serious. And any seller that has their home on the market is the same way. So if you're buying and selling, you're dealing with serious people that want to transact, which I'm clear is really critical. And then on top of that, what we do know is the projections are that the rates are going to be higher. We're not in the prediction business. We're in the data analysis, advising, guidance business. And if rates are going to be higher, even if people say, well, my sale price is going to be higher for my home, the cost of money is going to be higher. And that's what a lot of people aren't getting. One thing I think I shared this with you guys this morning. We put this together is like what it costs to wait on a property. And we have this kind of metric that we use as a team. I don't know if you guys got a chance to jump into this or not. But if you take an average sale price, let's say is $350, right? And over the next 6 months, prices are projected to go up 2.5% to 3% over the next 6 months, 5 to 6% next year. And right now, rates are coming in at like 3.125%. So if you wait at 6 months as a buyer and rates go up into the mid threes, you're looking at a difference of about $100 in your mortgage payment. Then the lost equity that you'd be building is another $1,750 a month. And then let's say you're renting a house right now. Let's say that costs $1,500 to rent the home, right? Which would be pretty reasonable. All of a sudden, it costs you $3,345 a month to wait to purchase. And that's what people don't get, because when you're paying rent, you know what you're doing? You're paying someone else's mortgage down. You're paying their taxes, their insurance. And this is the stuff that agents don't understand. It's right on the second tab there at the bottom, Stace. So this to me is so critical that if your agent's not communicating these finances to you, it might be time to talk to somebody else who gets it. Because that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of
I
money.
mean, it's more than your mortgage payment.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually, and then if you think about it, it just, the numbers add up. So do you ever break down the numbers like this to clients? Like, talk to me a little bit about how you walk them through the finances, because this is where I'm clear a lot of realtors get lost because they don't even understand these numbers.
Typically, when I'm with buyers and they're considering putting an offer in, and we're going over what it's going to cost them to get into the home, I run as many sheets as I absolutely have to with doing the buyer's estimated closing costs and monthly payments calculator. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty spot on coming straight through the MLS. And it gives them a very clear picture and understanding of what it's going to take for them not only to get into the home as far as their closing costs and what the closing costs are, what they comprise of, but also their monthly payments, the breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we can do different adjustments. Do they want to put 5% down, 10% down, 15%? If the fluctuation of the interest rate, different price points, it's fantastic. And they love it. And that is that value added as an agent. That's what I can do for my clients. And it puts it into perspective. That's for sure. They love it.
Yeah. When you start to communicate the cost of waiting to buyers that, if interest rates were to go up 1%, you're going to lose 10% of your purchasing power. Their eyes just, oh my God, their heads explode. Because they're not getting this data anywhere. So it's really important that we're communicating very clearly what it looks like to them financially, what it means for them down the road, and how acting sooner, maybe sooner, is probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all provided you find the right house. I mean, I think that goes without saying here. It's you find that opportunity, and the best homes always sell fast, so you might not even find out about it until after it goes if you're not in that active search phase. I mean, there's been folks I've run into where they worked with somebody else. They took a break. They reset. And like, man, I would have bought those two houses if they would have came on the market while we were doing nothing. That's the mistake that I see a lot of folks make. And Josh, you mentioned like their eyes pop out of their head because nobody talks about this stuff. And there is a cost to this. And when you can communicate this effectively, we're not making decisions for anybody. They're looking at it and making a good financial decision for themselves. And that's what this is all about. And that's how a good agent operates. And this is why we train our people the way we do. So if you're thinking about getting into real estate, or you don't have a license, or you just want to explore it more, check out our real estate scholarship program. It's realestatescholarshipprogram.com. And that's the kind of training we deliver. So, and what I would also say too is there's a cost to waiting for sellers, because if they're going to have to buy something else, they're dealing with the same thing, right? And you don't know what the rate is on their house. Maybe they have like a 4% rate. I mean, maybe they didn't refinance. It all depends. And if the cost of the dollar goes up, which it's going to, that's where, the affordability kind of breaks down. So, before we kind of take a break here and jump into the last segment, anything else you want to add from this data? Because we're saying what I'm hearing is there's opportunity to transact in the next 60 days. There's a lot of great reasons to do it. You're running into serious folks. There's a cost to waiting. For anyone that's kind of been on the fence, what are you guys telling them right now in the field? And this goes for a buyer or a seller, because that's who I want to get this message out to.
Well, if you're on the fence, let's sit down and have a conversation. What are you apprehensive about? Tell me, what's going on. Let me bring to you what's really happening and the data, so that, we can help you get over that hurdle and move forward. I think that's invaluable. I think people they let the thoughts and things spin in their heads, and they make up their own, they have these own ideas. But if you actually sit down and talk to someone and get all your questions answered, for the most part, you're going to have a much clearer picture and focus. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, everyone's personal situation, conditions are going to dictate what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to sit down with them, kind of analyze that, and help them walk it through it. But you're absolutely right. People will, spin things up, and with the little information they have, and if you can kind of open their eyes on some of that, guide them in the right way, that's really, the best we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about what you guys just said there. Normally, you meet with your accountant every year when you do your taxes, right? This is a much bigger financial decision than that. Taxes are important. When you got to get something done for your health, you go meet with the doctor, you have a consultation. Same thing if you got like a legal problem, right? So why not do the same thing with real estate? And that's another area where a lot of agents fall off. So, having that kind of meeting, game plan, strategy session, whatever you want to call it, that's where a lot of value comes from. So I think that's great advice, especially knowing that most people don't even know about this yet. Josh, you said that right at the top of the segment, that people don't know about this data. And that's why it's our job. And that's why we're on the show here, to get it out. So no matter who you talk to, at least you know what kind of situation you're getting into. So on that note, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about Josh Grubensky, how his career is changing, how he's taking ownership of his real estate career, because a lot of people don't. This is Toole Time, Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit TomToole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
Buying a home or already own one? We can help. I am Kevin Hamill from Alliances Insurance Agency. If you haven't reviewed your policies in the last 3 years, now's the time. New home buyers, there are a number of ways that we can help you get to that settlement table. Call us to find out more at 610-816-0043, extension 3, or visit our website, alliancesinsurance.com. Don't forget the S, it's for savings.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com.
Mortgage America's equal housing lender, NMLS 12850.
The real estate market is red hot. Have you considered taking advantage? Call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX at 610-692-6976 or visit our website, tomtoole.com, to
Stand by.
take advantage of these market conditions.
We are back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell. We've got Josh Grubensky here from our team. And again, we all work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and Delaware since 2018. And we had Josh on for many reasons. One, for his insight, but two, we wanted to chat a little bit about about him, what he's been doing, how he's been helping people locally in the marketplace. So, Josh, why don't you kind of give everyone a little bit of background about yourself, kind of what you were doing before, how you got started, how things are going now?
Yeah, so I joined the team as first. I got licensed 2 years ago. I joined in 2019, August 2019. First real estate job. Really had no idea what I was doing or what I was getting into. I did have some real estate experience beforehand on like the fixing up a house kind of situation. But prior to joining the team, I had very little idea of what I was getting into, what the world was really like. Joined the team, hit the ground running, and haven't looked back. It's been a really good run, and no regrets there.
So not having any, you had some real estate life experience, which I think is normal for a lot of people. And I know we talk about the investment side a lot, and that's something that you're working on. But not having any like sales experience, and you had sales experience, but real estate sales experience. Were you nervous at all? Because did that help you? Do you feel like, did it hurt you? I mean,
yeah, for sure. So I came from the service industry. I was a bartender in a high-end restaurant, white glove service. So you learn personal relationships and handling crisis situations and walking into a big mess for sure. And that translates to some degree, but working in a suited desk professional environment was completely foreign to me. Coming up to speed, that was definitely a change of pace.
What attracted you to want to get your real estate license in the beginning?
Yeah, for sure. So real estate really has no ceiling. As much as you want to work, you can work. As high as you want to go, you can go. And you can take a lot of different avenues to get there. So you can go into residential, you can go into commercial, you can go into development, you can go into investment. And every single avenue has a great depth to it. So I get attracted to the novelty and new things all the time. So being in this world, I can kind of hone that in on different aspects of this and always keep myself entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a really great point because I don't know. I mean, Stacey, I'll let you speak for yourself. I was in business school and I was like an accounting and finance major. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to be doing? Journal entries the rest of my life? Like literally. And that was one of the appeals to me is that there's different things to do. There's a lot of different disciplines, which is really exciting. So that's a great point. So 2 years in, and I mean, it's been kind of we went through a pandemic. Real estate was shut down. I mean, I don't think you could have gotten better training based on the world circumstances over the past 2 years. But, talk a little bit about kind of like your first 12 months versus where you are now. Because, I mean, I've seen a guy that's investing in himself, investing in his business, taking ownership, which a lot of people don't do ever in their professional life. So, and I mean, talk a little bit about kind of like what you learned your first year and how you're applying it now, because I mean, you brought a number of listings to the table. I mean, you're doing things that agents never do in their career in less than 24 months.
Yeah. So before I started, and my self-talk was like, oh, if I could sell a house or two my first year, I'd be really happy with that, right? Really didn't know what was going on, what lead generation was like, what an actual deal is like step by step. So joining a team there was really, endlessly useful in bringing me up to speed far faster than I could have anywhere else. So the first year I think I did 14 or 15 transactions. This year I'm on track to do 26 or 27, I believe. So I'm having some good growth there. And I would say in the beginning, I was very spread out. I didn't really know how to hone things down. I'm driving out to Downingtown from Philly up to Bucks County, up to Pottstown, all over the place. Really just take anything that comes in the door, because in the beginning, you kind of got to get up to speed, make some money, improve yourself. Now that I have some deals under my belt, I can calm down a little bit, focus in on smaller neighborhoods, smaller markets, bring more value, get more knowledge. And so that those markets that I am entertaining more, I'm becoming the expert in those areas.
So you've had some really great success in the past few months with listings. So can you share how you've been reaching out to people and, getting these listings?
Yeah, absolutely. Listings are so. My first year, I did a lot of the buy side. This year, I want to really focus in on the listings, and it's a different animal because buyers are there; they'll always be there. Listings and sellers, they have a lot more life conditions, and so the timelines can be a little more staggered, and it's not as urgent as you expect because they have a house. That house isn't going to go anywhere, so it's much more personal. Getting involved with people's lives, learning what the conditions for them are. Are they waiting for somebody to graduate? Are they waiting for some work to be done on the house? Do they have to go through some surgical procedure? There's a million different things impacting people's decisions, and how they make them. And you have to come to the table with a lot of empathy. As far as getting connected with these people, listings, some will come to you, referrals come for sure, but you got to be proactive in reaching out to people, finding out, what their plans are over the next several years, not over the next month or two. You're not going to go up to anybody and say, hey, do you want to sell your house tomorrow? Absolutely. Let's go.
That does happen occasionally, but not often.
You definitely want to be talking to people over long timelines, nurturing those relationships, fostering them over months and months and years, where it's like the work that I was putting in the very beginning 2 years ago is now starting to pay off in great dividends.
Well, that's a really good point, because and then there's a lot of, like, you'll hear this from like business coaches and everybody else, that all the stuff that gives you short-term pleasure, it doesn't help like your long-term goals. And that's a great observation. I would also argue that listings are the hardest skill in the industry. And the reason people don't want to do it is because they're afraid of the work. They don't want to sit there and nurture someone for 12 months. That's not easy to do, or 24 months, or just to kind of plant that seed and make a connection and then just stay in touch with that person over a period of time. So investing in yourself is the biggest thing. So, you've done it. What I've seen is someone that's grown as an agent and grown in their career where you're able to focus on listings now. Most people just never do it. They just don't want to do it. So for the person that's maybe listening, that's like, hey, I want to change my business a little bit, or I want to maybe at least do like a third of my business from listings, just get started. Like what advice would you have for them? Because you've had this conversation with yourself, I'm sure, at some point over the past 24 months. So it's really relevant, because I guarantee you there's someone watching or listening right now that kind of feels the same way you did.
For sure. Absolutely. You have to decide to do it is the short answer. You have to clearly define what you want and identify the ways to get there, and just start breaking it down and going after it. So you're going to break down your lead sources. You're going to see where people are. Are you circle dialing? Are you pursuing expireds? Are you pursuing online leads? Are you pursuing your sphere? And you want to go after each of those in a systematic, organized, and consistent way. So every week, who are you calling? Why are you calling them? And what's the intention of that call? It's not always, hey, let's get this signed. Maybe you're just, building some rapport there, because they're not quite ready yet. But I think you have to just be clear with yourself and honest with yourself and what you're going after, and the rest will kind of follow from that.
So consistency also is key.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you can have a great conversation with somebody and you feel like you're building a rapport, but if you don't talk to them for 6 months, they're going to forget about you.
Right.
You have to. internalize that it's not someone else's job to know about you. It's your job to make them know about you. And that's amazing advice right there. So anyone listening, just write that down. You could probably go to town with that over the next 12 months. So, obviously I know we've talked about kind of like your goals with real estate and some other things. So like, what's something like people wouldn't know about you? Maybe Stacey and I do, but like you're on the radio now, we're putting this video out there for people. Like what's something that like a little known fact about Josh Grubensky that a lot of people aren't aware of?
Yeah, so I spent a long time in college studying foreign language, specializing in French literature and Mandarin Chinese. That's not something I talk a lot about anymore.
Wow.
But yeah.
What's a long time in college? I like how he said that.
Yeah, so I started community college at 16, and then I left college at like 28,
Okay.
29.
Gotcha. And
16. Wait, did you got into college at 16?
Yeah, so I tested out of high school and I
didn't even know this. This is great.
Took some extracurriculum courses at the community college and started out a little early there. Didn't have a lot of direction, full disclosure, no idea what I was doing, but it was college, right?
There's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes knowing that you don't have direction is probably more important than thinking you want to do something and then having to go. I mean, how many people do you meet? They get like these degrees and they're like, I'm not doing anything with it anymore. And it's not like an easy one. It's like, I became a doctor and I decided I want to do something else or whatever it is. So I think that's not having direction is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. And I see on your Instagram that you like to garden.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the urban gardener.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got a big setup. We got a bunch of 5-gallon buckets, tomato plants, and a whole bunch of herbs and peppers and cucumbers and eggplants. And every year we kind of work on the system a little more and refine it. And it's come along really well.
Yeah. That's because I'm out in suburbia land around the farmers, and I'm like highly impressed by your garden. I think it's pretty awesome.
If I could find a place to put a cow and a pig, maybe, but I don't know if my neighbors would like it.
I don't think the zoning office would like it either. That might be another problem. You get the city knocking on your door. So before we got like 3 minutes left here. So knowing what you know now, anything you would have done differently or any advice you would have for people that are getting into the business right now? Because I think it's always easy looking back and hindsight's always 20/20. I mean, there's a million things I would have done differently and the path gets you where you are. But what advice do you have for people that are, kind of where you were? And I mean, Stacey, if you want to chime in too, because I mean, you went through the same journey pretty recently during the pandemic. Like what advice do you have for people that want to kind of break into the business or at least get their career off on the right foot?
Get your license as quickly as possible. I took my sweet time, over a year, taking the license, schooling while I was working all this. I was like, I really want to learn as much as I can before as possible. But you really don't learn anything until your first day as an agent. And everything you learn after, like, they don't teach you. So just get your license as quickly as possible. Join a team where you're surrounded with people that know what they're doing and can teach you as fast as possible. And that'll really speed things up for you.
I have to agree with that 100% because I got my license pretty quickly, though, because I was like, I got to get this done. I had a goal of like, I had to finish it up fast. But what you learn when you're doing those courses is completely different than real life experience. So I agree. Get your license and then get with a great team because you're going to learn so much after you're in the business. Mm-hmm.
So you guys are telling me you don't have a lot of cemetery plot deals that you're doing, or you need to know how many square feet are in an acre on a day-to-day basis. Is this accurate?
Right. Correct.
I mean, you guys are kind because obviously we all work together. I would agree that, and I just read this book. It was called Tribe of Millionaires, where it's like who you surround yourself with actually multiplies your efforts. And I think that's so true no matter what you do. So, that's great advice. So Josh is the urban gardener. Josh, how do people get in touch with you? How, like they want you to list their house, they want to buy a house. How do they reach out to Josh? And obviously we'll get Stacey and everyone else's information here too.
Yeah, just find me on Facebook or Instagram, Joshua E. Grubensky. There's not a lot of Grubenskys out there. You'll find me.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
Awesome. So we got a couple minutes left here. Anything you feel like we left out today people need to know? We talked about bidding wars. We talked about Inman Connect. We talked about Josh's amazing journey, and he's just getting started, which is the most exciting part. What else? We got like a minute left here. Someone's looking to make a decision in the next 60 days. What should they be thinking about right now? One sentence. What do you got, Stace?
In the next 60 days to make a move? Yeah, definitely I think it's a great idea. Uh, because
Call me.
I think,
It's a great
call
idea.
me. I'll answer all your questions. Get with the right agent. They're going to help you. And it's going to be, either it's going to be sink or swim, basically. So you have to get with an agent that's experienced and guide you through the process, because that's everything, getting through the process. Like Josh knows, there are some deals that go sideways. So it's all about temperament, keeping calm, keeping cool, navigating, problem solving, because real estate is extremely complicated at times. So definitely get with the right people and you will have success.
Josh, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. 15 minutes with a good agent will really save you hours and hours of turmoil. So, come say hello.
15 minutes, talk to somebody who knows what they're doing. That's where we're going to leave it. Josh told you how to get in touch with him. You want to follow Stacey. She's on Instagram at @2 Mitchco, Mitchco. You can follow me at Tom Toole 3RD. That's at Tom Toole III. Again, we all work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline. Follow us on Facebook or the YouTube stream. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.